cruises, and welcome to another webinar where we just give you different aspects of the Crystal Cruise product, and so you can take it in small bites of about 10 minutes long. Today I will be talking about one of the things Crystal is most recognized for, and that's the dining on board our ships, which is really just amazing. The fine dining that we have on board, it's Michelin-inspired cuisine. We recently, probably about a year, 18 months ago for both ships, went to open seating, which is working really well. And that's open seating in our main dining room. We have some of the most talented sommeliers at sea, and they really are helpful. And they will help our guests choose a wine to go with their meals, or deliver what the guest wants, even if they don't think it goes with the meal. They're really friendly and very knowledgeable, and they can provide lots of assistance. And then we also have 24-hour in-suite dining for our guests as well. And we have up to 11 evening dining venues. So we'll crack through some of these and give you a bit of an idea of the choice on board Crystal Ocean cruise ships, Symphony and Serenity. So starting with the Bistro, this is our speciality coffee and tea section. It's just above the atrium. It's a buffet, as you can see there. Opens early in the morning, runs through the day till fairly late at night, and kind of starts with continental breakfast, I guess, so with croissants and rolls and bits and pieces, bagels, etc. It's a really lovely place to go if you just maybe want a nice coffee and maybe a couple of pastries or a croissant first thing in the morning, rather than a full-blown course for breakfast you can have in the main dining room. So this is quite popular for our guests, never too crowded. And then as the day progresses, it kind of morphs into charcuterie with ham and salmon and cheese, etc. And then later on in the afternoon, out come more cakes. It's just mouth-watering. So, and plenty of fruit there as well. And as I said earlier, you can get specialty coffees and teas in this area. Waterside. Now, this is our main dining room, and we've had it refurbished on both ships. As I mentioned just a moment ago, we've gone open dining in this restaurant, and it's working extremely well. The waiters have digital devices which look very similar to mobile phones, so they'll take your order at the table side, obviously, but then as soon as they've taken that, that's gone straight through to the kitchen to try and help the service be more efficient. We don't necessarily need it to be faster. We want our guests to relax and enjoy their dinner, but it helps us to be a little bit more efficient. And in the Waterside, we have two menus, actually. Although you'll open up the menu, when our guests open up the menu, they'll have on one side, they'll have the contemporary menu, and on the other side, they'll have the modern menu. And our guests can pick and choose from either side, and they can mix and match. That's no problem. So, for example, contemporary menu, you'd probably have beef Wellington, steak. You'd probably have Dover sole. Whereas on the modern menu, for example, as a starter, we do a smoked Wagyu beef on a celeriac puree, and it comes in a Kilner jar with the smoke still in the jar. So it's visual as well as really tasty. And then for dessert, we do a cake whereby it's covered in candy floss. And then the waiter comes along and pours the sauce all over the candy floss, and that just disintegrates into a sauce around the cake. So, as I say, the modern menu is not only very, very tasteful, but again, it's quite visual and a bit of fun. But those that want the traditional, they want their beef Wellington, or they want a fillet steak, etc., or lobster, then that would be on the other menu. And as I said, guests can mix and match. That's absolutely no problem. We then come out to Marketplace. That's right at the back of the ship. Now, Marketplace by day. So that means that Marketplace is open for breakfast in the morning and is open for lunch, obviously midday. And it can be the seating inside, as you see here, or the seating outside. Now, the arrangement that you can see on this shot is actually when we change the restaurant in the evening to churrascaria. and that is an Argentinian or Brazilian steakhouse. You can choose from a myriad of vegetables, and there's jacket potatoes and plenty of really different salads. And guests would take that from the buffet and sit down, and then the waiters would come along with blades of meat hanging from them. So they'll cut off bits of steak from it. I don't know if any of you have been into an Argentinian or Brazilian restaurant before. If you look at that table in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see some round things that look like beer mats. They're actually red on one side and green on the other. So as the waiters come around with the meat to carve some off onto your plate, you either put it on red, meaning you had enough for the moment, but don't go away, come back later. And then you have green, that means, what's next? What can you have? So you'll have fillet steak, you'll have shrimp, you'll have sausage, you'll have chicken, sirloin steak. So, and again, a really nice place to go for an evening meal. And the way they set it up is slightly different from Marketplace, a bit more intimate, I guess. But again, this is relatively new to us and has gone down really, really well as an alternative evening option. Then we come to our Trident Grill and Scoops. Trident Grill is where we're serving steak sandwiches, salads, burgers, chicken burgers, tuna melts, etc. For those who maybe want to snack at lunchtime. So when our guests come on board the ship, they're usually allowed to come on board the ship at midday, and our guests can choose to either eat in the Trident Grill if they just want a snack, or they can even go down to Waterside, the main restaurant, for lunch. A lot of people quite excited getting on board the ship, want to have a look around. So they'll come up here, have a glass of champagne and maybe a steak sandwich before moving on. And Scoops, you can just see it in the background. I don't know if you see the young lady standing up there in the background. Scoops is actually our ice cream parlor, where we offer ice creams and we can also do milkshakes, etc. So again, a nice sort of relaxing place to come and have a lunch. Another new restaurant to us is the Silk Kitchen and Bar, and the food here is stupendous. It's a Chinese kitchen, and at lunch so we have Chinese chefs, and at lunchtime there's always the chef special. And then in the evening, again, phenomenal. The first time I went into this restaurant, I chose one dish, and I was like, "Are you sure that's going to be enough?" I went, yeah, that's fine. But actually in here, it's more like a Chinese tapas. So you can order a number of plates, and then you can just share them between you. What I guess a lot of people call family dining. But yeah, order 2 or 3, or if there's a group of you, just say a bit of everything. And the food here is really, really gorgeous. So that's open for lunch, and it's open again in the evening for dinner. Then we come to us probably the creme de la creme in terms of restaurants on board the ship. And this is Umi Uma by Nobu. For those of you that know your Japanese, you'll know that Umi Uma stands for seahorse. But this is a Nobu-inspired restaurant. Nobu has many, many restaurants around the world. This is the only Nobu restaurant at sea. And this is a great place because his cuisine is a combination of Peruvian and Japanese. Sounds a bit strange, but it's a really beautiful combination. So guests can make you have to make a reservation for Nobu. So you make a reservation before you sail, and the first time you eat in this dining room, our guests can do so free of charge. They can come back again if they want to, but then there's a $30 per person charge for that. And it's a great place if people aren't sure about the cuisine of Nobu. This is the best place to go and try it, because if you're going for the first time you go, and it's for free. So maybe ask the waiter, can you just try a little bit of sushi, a little bit of sashimi, just to try it. And then we have Wagyu beef, we have black cod, we have chicken. There's plenty for everybody, including vegetarians in this restaurant. Now you can just see on the left-hand side of the back there, that's the sushi bar. If there are seats available at the sushi bar, our guests can just walk in and sit down. But as I mentioned, for the rest of the restaurant, they would need to make a reservation. Our other alternative restaurant is Prego. This is an Italian restaurant, and again, incredible decor in this room, and everywhere on board the ship. The service is amazing. And here, as I mentioned, Italian restaurant, so you can have probably the best lasagna I've ever tried. You can have rack of lamb, you can have ossobuco. just an array of fabulous Italian dishes. And again, in here, one of the signature dishes is actually a starter, and it's an incredible mushroom soup, but it's served in a hollowed out large bread roll. So visually and in taste, it's just amazing. Again, like Nobu, guests have to make reservations here. And before they sail, they can make one reservation in this dining room. They can make further reservations once they're on board the ship. And the first time is free. And just like in Umi Uma, if guests want to go back again, that's a $30 per person charge. Then we come to our vintage room. Actually, the vintage room is the domain of the head sommelier. So it's a small room of about 14 people, 12 to 14 people. And it's a private dining room, and guests, if in a group or a family, can hire this out, normally about $1,800, $2,000. And that's because the wine in here is so special. You're talking Petrus, you're talking some of the finest wines. And if a group decides they want to take advantage of the vintage room, then they meet up with a head sommelier, they choose the wines they like first, and then the wine list is presented to the head chef. And he prepares a menu to complement the wines. It's done that way around. And on some evenings, we'll, for our guests that are there in couples, they're cruising with their friend or spouse or whatever, we do have a taster menu. Again, around about about $180 to $200 per person. But again, that really is more for the wine than anything else. So incredible food, but incredible wines as well. And we've introduced, it's purely on Serenity at the moment. When we did the refurb, we introduced what we call the supper club. So this is the Stardust Lounge. And of an evening, usually there are chairs and people sitting around watching a show or an entertainer or something in here. It's not the main lounge, it's just one of our other lounges. And then on selected evenings, we turn it into the Stardust Supper Club. So guests can come in here and eat and be entertained at the same time. Obviously, normally music and a singer, etc. And again, this is brand new to us, but it's really gone down a storm. It's really gone down really well. I mean, also other alternatives, you can dine in your stateroom if you want to. We've got 24-hour room service. And also of an evening, guests can choose from the main dining room menu. So that's the Waterside. Guests can choose their dinner from the Waterside menu to be brought to their stateroom or their suite. And if our guests are in penthouse suites, then they can also choose from Prego and Umi Uma as well. So plenty of choice. Okay, I'm feeling really hungry now, so I better go and make myself a cheese and tomato sandwich, I guess. Oh well, how the other half live. Anyway, please keep in touch with us. There's plenty of social media out there for you to follow us by. Obviously, Twitter, Facebook, blogs, Instagram accounts, and also some amazing footage on YouTube. And again, you can look at snapshots of the different areas of Crystal Cruises, different areas on board the ship on YouTube. It's been my pleasure to go through the dining. As I salivate before I finish, so my apologies for that. I wish you all well, and thank you for taking the time to listen. If this raises any questions for you, then please don't hesitate to call. All right, take care. Bye for now.